Teddy here. I hope y'all had a nice Christmas break this year. Now I've got some really good news. Now I have one piece of good news I'd like to be able to share with you guys. Now, for those whom were biased about the use of My Little Pony characters, to all of you My Little Pony haters, or basically anyone who's been biased about the use of My Little Pony characters, I do have great news. I'm pretty sure you people would like to hear. In case if you guys haven't noticed, I did speak with my good friend Dante about the use of My Little Pony characters and about the controversy that you guys have gone to regarding to My Little Pony and Epic Battles. And I will say this: Dante did listen to your criticism, and just be happy when I say this, people, that in all future Epic Battles movies begin with Epic Battles 4. There will be no references to My Little Pony whatsoever, and nor will you guys be able to hear any Waka Flock songs or any references to Waka Flock appear in films beginning with Epic Battles 4. Though the only songs that you will hear in any future Epic Battles film beginning with Epic Battles 4 would be, of course, for the rap songs, you only hear songs written by either Smoothie, Eminem, R-Truth, Nice Peter, Epic Lloyd, and Psy. And I know what some of you are probably going to say regarding to three of the rappers that I just named. Oh, I've heard Eminem swear a lot in his songs. Oh, I heard Nice Peter and Epic Lloyd both swear a lot in their songs too. Now, look, people. What I will do is that with any song written by Eminem, I would try to use the clean lyrics. And the same would also go for whenever I feel like using something like Epic Rap Battles of History, Just Raps for Hire, or any of the single songs that Epic Lloyd did with the likes of Elverse and Rampage. So anyways, however, outside of those rappers I just named, most of the soundtracks that you likely hear more of in every Epic Battles film beginning with Epic Battles 4 is mainly soundtrack music. Now, for those who don't want to know what I mean, I'm talking, of course, like music, which you guys may have heard in either movies, TV shows, or video games. Basically, what I try to make sure that music-wise, I try to make sure that the songs appear to be either clean or instrumental. Make sure that I know not to include any songs that I know that can offend over millions of people. Thankfully, not only will you people not hear any Waka Flock songs appear in the soundtrack of any Epic Battles on beginning with Epic Battles 4, but also you guys will not be able to hear any songs that have often been hated, like with the likes of Rebecca Black, as well as any Disney Channel stars. You will not be able to hear songs by those people I just named either. So any Rebecca Black haters or any Disney Channel stars haters, you don't have to worry at all. And also, though the only Disney Channel star I would consider using songs of for films beginning with Epic Battles 4 is the works of Jesse McCartney. And in case you guys are all wondering why I would ever include just any songs by Jesse McCartney in an Epic Battles soundtrack, well, that's because when you take a look at Jesse McCartney, that's because, fun fact, Jesse McCartney is indeed from Ardsley. And Ardsley is indeed in Epic Battles. So because due to the fact that Ardsley can be seen a lot in Epic Battles, and also because due to the fact that Jesse McCartney himself is indeed from Ardsley, that is why I would have to consider making references to him, including including adding in some of his songs into the soundtrack. So yeah. And regarding to the My Little Pony controversy I received in the past, yeah, you in every Epic Battles film beginning with Epic Battles 4, you guys will not be able to see any My Little Pony characters appear in Epic Battles. The only little kid franchises that you'll ever see being referenced in every Epic Battles movie going forward, beginning with Epic Battles 4, are Winnie the Pooh, the works of Dr. Seuss, the early 90s Bluth movies, as well as the Disney direct-to-video sequels, Sesame Street, Reader Rabbit, Clue Finders, Jumpstart, and the Star Wars prequels. Yeah, as you guys can tell, I thought I'd try to make sure you guys are feeling like watching the original trilogy, as in the original version, and not the special edition, as I know a lot of Star Wars fans have hated the special edition. So anyways, now that I got out of the way, now I've got some things that I would like to address, that I've always been wanting to address for a while, but sadly haven't. Now the first thing that I want to be able to address is this. Now, for those who have not seen my update vlog from back in November 2015, when I was addressing all the unreasonable hate I got regarding to Epic Battles in the past, when I did address regarding to the use of real-life personalities in Epic Battles, I did say that I am defending the use of real-life personalities, right? About that, not only am I defending the use of real-life personalities in Epic Battles, but also, so is my good friend Dante as well. And I am not joking when I say, I'm not joking when I say, look, people, I'm being serious when I say, I'm not joking when I say this, people, right? I'm gonna be serious this time when I say this, that if any of you people dare ask Dante to do any name changing with any characters or places appearing in Epic Battles, he's more likely gonna tell you people the same thing as if I was telling you, which it's no. And for those who have been wanting to see me do any name changes in Epic Battles, not only are you people all harassing me, but also you people are also harassing Dante as well. So anyways, in case if you guys are all wondering, how come both Dante and I would both never do any name changing for a project like Epic Battles, despite the fact that I already did something like this once with my review show. Well, it's because, excuse me. So anyways, here are the following reasons why you people will never see me nor Dante do any name changing for a project like Epic Battles, particularly when speaking about the use of any particular character, regardless if it's real life or fictional. Now, the first reason that I need to bring up to you guys will be, of course, it defeats the point of crossover. And two, the second reason why I would never do name changing for a project like Epic Battles is that it can when doing something like a crossover, regardless of what media you're doing it, regardless if you're doing it as a movie or TV show, or comic book, or as a fan fiction, or even as a video game or whatever, if you're gonna do name changing in something like a crossover, let's just say, you're gonna have to accept taking a lot of risk. And the third reason why Dante and I would both never do any name changing for a project like Epic Battles is because, well, trust me when I say this, people, there have been other people in this world. We've seen other people in this world who tried doing something like this before, but unfortunately, whenever someone dare do name changing, they're more likely going to fail. Now, let me bring up some really good examples of failures that discouraged both me and Dante to do any name changes for a project like Epic Battles. Now, the first, or should I say, the worst one out of the bunch, being Food Fight. Now, for those who don't know what the movie Food Fight is, then you guys are obviously lucky. Because Food Fight has been proclaimed to be one of the worst, or if not the worst, animated film of all time. I mean, yeah, sure, it may not be the worst thing in animation, as I'm aware that, yeah, there is Where the Dead Go to Die, which is worse than Food Fight. But trust me when I say this, people, that even if Where the Dead Go to Die happens to be worse than Food Fight, Food Fight did have its disastrous moments. And what was so disastrous about it? Like, let's just say, it's not just the sexual innuendos or references to Nazism that matters. It's more of how, no matter how much you people all hate Food Fight, one important fact about Food Fight that you must know, especially if you're an animation fan watching this, that Food Fight was originally going to be like the Who Framed Roger Rabbit of food icons. But then, after getting into certain lawsuits, after the Threshold God had to sacrifice through certain lawsuits, this is the moment where they had to do name changes. Not only that, but also, not only was certain lawsuits made them do name changes, but also, fun fact, Food Fight was originally supposed to come out in 2002. However, Threshold lost a chip that had the original vision for the film. So because of that, they had to make the film and delay it till 2012. And then when Food Fight was released, oh boy, did it become one of the worst animated films of all time that we all knew and hated. So, and another failed attempt that discouraged me to do so would be, Wired. Now, for those who don't know what Wired is, it's a movie biopic that retells the story of John Belushi done wrong. Now, for those who don't know who John Belushi is, John Belushi is an actor who died in his 30s due to drug overdose. And in case if you guys are all wondering what was so disastrous about Wired, so much so that Dante and I both got closed-minded about the whole unnecessary name-changing idea nonsense, let's just say, there were some changes that... Now, imagine if you're a fan of John Belushi, right? Yet though you love John Belushi so much so that when you people do get to see Wired, this is where things get really embarrassing. And what's so embarrassing about it, you guys may ask? Well, you know those Saturday Night Live skits which John Belushi himself did in real life? Well, about those SNL skits that John Belushi himself did in real life, they apparently made some changes that angered a lot of people who support John Belushi, regardless if it's a family member, a friend, or even a fan. And because of that change happened, not only did it lead to be a major box office bomb, considering the fact that it was released, which is also because It was released in the same year that brought us The Little Mermaid and All Dogs Go to Heaven. But also, another reason, but also, because of there were some unnecessary changes that angered a lot of John Belushi fans, that is why when we do get to see Wire, if you're gonna see the movie Wired on home video, the best that you can buy is an out of print VHS tape, which I thankfully never bought. And because of all the hate the movie got, that is why it never saw a DVD release nor a Blu-ray release. And another failed attempt that would also discourage me from name changing would be a game called Mickey Mania. Now, in case you guys are all wondering, how did Mickey Mania discourage me from name changing? It's not necessarily the entire game itself that discouraged me from name changing. It's more of how, allow me to put it this way. When Mickey Mania was re-released on the original PlayStation, it got a name change from when Mickey Mania was re-released on the original PlayStation, it got a name change. And what did Mickey Mania become when it was re-released on the original PlayStation? Well, let's just say it became Mickey's Wild Adventure. And oh boy, did that anger a lot of Disney fans who enjoyed playing Mickey Mania. Now, for those who don't know what Mickey Mania is a Mickey Mouse video game that originally first came out on the Sega Genesis. Yet, though, it was so successful, so much so that it even got re-released on the Sega CD, the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, and the original PlayStation. And I think I'm going to take VG Retro's word that if I ever do get to play Mickey Mania one day, I'm going to stick with either the Sega Genesis version or the Sega CD version. Look, I know Sega CD sucks, but keep in mind that even with all the flaws that the Sega CD has, it does have at least some good games. At least it's better to play with than the Virtual Boy. I mean, yeah, sure, it may not be as golden as the Sega Genesis or the Sega Dreamcast, but at least unlike the Virtual Boy where it had no good games whatsoever, the Sega CD did have at least some good games despite all the baddiness it had to offer. So anyways, and also another thing that also discouraged me from name changing would be this one TV channel called Disney XD. Now, look, I know Disney XD may have had some good shows on the air with the likes of Phineas and Ferb, Gravity Falls, all the Marvel cartoons, and Star Wars Rebels, and all that stuff. Keep in mind that even with all those great shows I just named, it does, however, have its cons. With the likes of Star vs. the Forces of Evil, which I thought it's okay. Not great, not bad, but could have been worse. As well as anything that's live action. Now, I bet you're all wondering, how did Disney XD discourage me and Dante from doing name changing? Now, allow me to put it this way. Now, imagine if you're a kid from, let's just say, who grew up, like, let's just say you're a kid who happened to grow up either in the late 90s or in the early to mid 2000s, right? And yet, though, you happen to be a huge Disney fan, right? And because of your love for Disney, right? This is a moment where one day you happen to be on your TV. In other words, you happen to be sitting on the couch using TV, right? Yet, though, you're trying to browse for a good Disney cartoon to watch. And when I say Disney cartoon, and no, people, I'm not talking about the usual animated classics with the likes of Snow White or Pinocchio or Peter Pan or Cinderella or Little Mermaid, or Beauty and the Beast, or Aladdin, or Lion King, or any of those films. Oh, no. When I say Disney cartoon, I'm talking of more like shorts, like short films, like with the length of a short film or a TV episode. So anyways, one day you happen to be on your TV, right? You're trying to find a good Disney cartoon to watch. And then there you discovered Toon Disney. And once you do get to watch Toon Disney, this is the moment where it would change your life, but in a good way, that is. And how can I put this? Oh, right. And also, when you do get to watch Toon Disney, this moment where, no matter what shows they had on the air at that time, whenever you hear people actually bring up these shows or actually get revisited in any particular way, regardless if it's through a particular conversation or a new comic or even a new video game or a new movie or whatever, you're pretty much going to think about a lot of those shows more when they were on Toon Disney. So anyways, when you first do get to hear that Toon Disney will become Disney XD, this is the moment where you'll likely get skeptical. Heck, considering my love for Toon Disney growing up, when I first heard the news that Toon Disney will become Disney XD, I was one of those many kids at that time period one of those many Disney fans at that time who were skeptical about the idea of Disney XD at first. But then when Disney XD first launched back on February 12th, 2009, this is the moment where a lot of Disney fans who grew up watching Toon Disney like myself would get into controversy over what Disney XD has got. But it could have been worse. It could have been like what already happened with Disney Channel right now. So anyways, and also another film that also did discourage me from name changing will be, of course, anything coming directly from Video Brinquedo. For those who don't know what that anything that comes from Video Brinquedo. Wait, hang on. Let's see here. Video. Oh. It's pronounced Video Brinquedo. So anyways, this animation studio I'm talking about here is called. So anyways, this one animation studio that did discourage me from name changing is Video Brinquedo. For those who don't know what that animation studio is about, it's basically a Brazilian animation studio that's infamous for making a lot of terrible cheap knockoffs of films that I'm pretty sure you people watching this may find to be already familiar with. One cheap knockoff that Video Brinquedo once made is called Ratatouille, which, for those who don't know what that cheap knockoff is, it's basically a cheap knockoff of Pixar's Ratatouille. What do I think about Ratatouille? Let's just say I feel Animax's pain. Thankfully, I haven't watched a single film coming from Video Brinquedo, and I don't plan to. If I did, I'm dreading that if I actually did watch any of their films, I would have had an insufferable time watching them. Now, if you guys are gonna watch a good ripoff of Pixar's Ratatouille, don't watch Ratatouille. Go watch Flushed Away instead. Why? Well, let's just say, unlike Ratatouille, which has bad animation, terrible story, and unlikable characters and all that stuff, Flushed Away doesn't have any of that. Flushed Away has great animation, great story, likable characters, and a great soundtrack. And also another good thing to point out about Flushed Away is that how can I put this? Oh, right. Another good thing to say about Flushed Away is that they brought in the Wolverine himself, Hugh Jackman, to voice Roddy. Not only that, but also they brought in Kate Winslet, John Reno, and Ian McKellen. And also, they even brought in Andy Serkis to star in the film. And also, another good thing about Flushed Away is that, unlike Ratatouille, which was made by a terrible animation studio being Video Branquito, Flushed Away, however, on the other hand, like with Ratatouille, ended up being at a much better animation studio. Sure, it may not be made by Pixar, but rather made by two animation studios called DreamWorks, as in the same guys who brought us Shrek, and Aardman, the same guys that brought us Wallace and Gromit. Fun fact, Flushed Away was not only the first computer animated film that Aardman has ever worked on, but also this will be the last movie which both Aardman and DreamWorks would both do together. After that, Aardman would then later on work with Sony Pictures Animation to do films like Arthur Christmas and the Pirates Band of Misfits. And then after Aardman was done making the Pirates Band of Misfits with Sony, then this is the moment where they begin working at Studio Canal with films beginning with a Shaun the Sheep movie. And yes, people, a Shaun the Sheep movie apparently exists. No joke when I say that. So anyways, another film that also did discourage me from name changing would be, of course, Maleficent. And I'm talking about the one where Angelina Jolie plays Maleficent. What about that film that discouraged me to do name changing for Project Like Epic Battles would be, you know, the three fairies from Sleeping Beauty? Well, their names have changed, which gotten a lot of Sleeping Beauty fans into tears. So anyways, now that I already addressed that, now I've got something else I would like to address, being regarding to my bar mitzvah. Now, in case if you guys haven't seen my updated vlog back in November 2015, I also addressed regarding to my bar mitzvah, right? Well, about that, I will say this. That there are some, when it comes to my bar mitzvah, there are some things about my bar mitzvah I forgot to mention back in November. And I bet you're all wondering, since I'm going to be redoing my bar mitzvah, I'm pretty sure a lot of you people watching this, especially if you either actually personally came there or actually saw it on TV, how I'm going to redo my bar mitzvah, to make it even better. Well, here are some things that I'm definitely going to improve on. Even if you people really liked the original one. So anyways, some things that I'm gonna do for when I redo my bar mitzvah is that for the catering part, instead of using help from a restaurant like Slices, I would use help from Epstein's. Why Epstein's, you guys may ask? Well, let's just say when you take a look at what Epstein's have to offer, their food is more B'nai Mitzvah oriented. Don't get me wrong, people. I'm not saying Slices is a terrible restaurant. I think Slices can make good food as well. It's just that, well, the problem I've had with Slices is more the fact, well, they're not as B'nai Mitzvah oriented as with a place like Epstein's. Because with Epstein's food, sure they may not be glot kosher, but they're still regular kosher. They're kosher enough to be able to be considered B'nai Mitzvah oriented. In fact, there's this one place I go to called Westchester Jewish Community Services, aka WJCS for short, whom catering wise would normally use help from Epstein's. So I thought I'd use help from Epstein's. Though fun fact, plus Epstein's Kosher Deli did, out of all the restaurants that existed in real life, Epstein's pretty much appeared a lot in epic battles, more as a favorite restaurant to all the heroes, both boys and girls alike. And also another thing that I'm also going to improve would be, of course, make sure that when you get to have the party, I'm going to make sure this time I get to have video games at my bar mitzvah. The third one being, of course, a third improvement that I definitely need to make would be, of course, games. And also, a third improvement I also need to improve would be, of course, alright, instead of having a bar mitzvah concert, since it's been a disaster on my part, what I will do is that I would use help from a DJ. Why DJ, you guys? Let me ask, like, let's just say, if I did something like, let's just say a concert, a bar mitzvah concert, let's just say I might not have all the songs I wanted to be able to have being played at my bar mitzvah, because when I had a concert happening at my bar mitzvah, the music being played at the bar mitzvah concert was supposed to be music from soundtracks. Now, for those who don't know what a soundtrack is, I'm talking, of course, like music from movies, TV shows, video games, stuff like that. You get the idea. So, anyways, because of how that the bar mitzvah concert was kind of a disaster on my part, but could have been worse, that is why I thought I'd try to use DJ instead. As with a DJ, I can play any song I like, which in this case I wanted to have soundtrack music being played in the background when I have the party. Now, since I already explained all the improvements I wanted to make, I know what a lot of you people are all probably gonna say, "Oh, that's just cash grabbing." No, people. Based on what I'm doing right here, when I redo my bar mitzvah, that is not cash grabbing. Now, look, people, there's something that some of you have forgotten about. Well, keep in mind, whenever I do something like, let's just say, either a sequel or basically something that involves revisiting projects that I've previously worked on in the past, I don't normally try to look at doing them as a financial plan. However, if I had a great idea that can easily surpass the original, then I would give it the green light. And, how can I put this? Oh, right. So yeah, with the case of me redoing my bar mitzvah, keep in mind, basically what I'm doing is not cash grabbing. It's basically when I have good ideas in mind. And don't worry, people, I can tell you all for a fact that you guys are still going to see me do service. You people are all still going to see me retour and all that stuff, and you'll still see it take place at the same synagogue as before, being Woodlands Community Temple, as well as it will still be and also how can I put this? And I'm still going to use help from the same cameraman as before, being Sal from Magic Moments, if you're someone who regularly has gone to various BTC shows, standing for Broadway Training Center, you guys may know him more as the cameraman over at those Broadway shows. So anyways, so yeah, when I did get to redo my Barnes, it's the same exact thing that I would also do when doing an epic battle sequel, as well as the same with whenever I feel like doing a new episode of Casual Reviews with Bear Rimshot. It's not to look at doing them as a financial plan. It's only to do it when I have a great idea in mind. Now think of like how Pixar would make sequels, right? When you get to know more about the truth about Pixar, of how they normally make sequels, they don't generally try to look at making sequels as a financial plan. If they do, however, have an idea that appears to be great as the original, appears to be as great as the original, or appears to be as great as, or let's just say that surpasses the original, then they'll give it the green light. The same thing has also happened to me as well. So, yeah, that's all I have to say in this update vlog. Until then, I hope you all have a happy new year! This is Teddy signing off.